The Bunker Project, episode number 5. Welcome back to another episode of The Bunker Project. This week we talk about social broadcasters, aggregators, and of course, the black beer. And welcome back to another exciting episode of The Bunker Project. My name is Andrew McGivern, and we are live to Hard Drive right here in the bunker on Robson, the Bunker Bar. I'm here with Bob Garlick.
Yeah, hot August, end of August, ready for September, and man, oh man, it's nice in the bunker, cool, air-conditioned.
Nice. Back here in the studio especially, it's kind of embedded into the hotel here.
Well, and also keep me cool is my favorite beer, the black beer. Apparently they're renaming it. I went into a liquor store today and said, yeah, you're going to need black beer. And they said, no, but we've got this Okanagan Spring. And they came up with a new name for it. And I was really disappointed because I just think black is cool. Of course, they showed me the black from, it's kind of, I classified it as an Archie Bunker Bar beer. Oh, yeah, we'd love a couple more. 2 more would be great.
Perfect.
We have a new bartender today, so she's a little shy. She refuses to come into the studio. But we'll just throw the glasses to remind her when we really need some beer. So yeah, getting back to the black beer, that's a Labatt's product. And way back in the day, 25 years ago, it was considered like an Archie Bunker Bar. Basically, the old guy drinks it. Nobody cool drinks it. And they rebranded to the legend is black. That was the tagline. And they did a ton of advertising. They had an 800% increase in beer sales because of their rebranding to black. And so that's why I'm kind of excited about Okanagan calling their beer black.
Well, as far as I knew, it was called Okanagan Springs Black Lager.
Yeah, and I just tuned in on black. So maybe they should get rid of all the other stuff and just call it black.
Kind of like...
The legend is black. It's awesome. All the cool people had it.
Well, all right. I tried another beer on the about a week ago called the Backhand of God.
Yeah. You posted a picture.
I put it up on the Bunker Project Facebook group. Great beer. It's not as clean as a black lager, because this is actually it's technically a lager, but a black lager. This is more of approaching a Guinness.
Really? Very smooth, creamy,
thick, and it's missing the creaminess, but it's definitely kind of a porter style beer. It's a very good beer.
Wow, you sound really sophisticated, man.
And
Me?
I enjoyed it.
Actually, with the Facebook, we've got what do you call it? An photo album there, and I've been putting up photographs. So if you guys have any black beers or a dark beer that you really like, just zap us a picture and put it on that album. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, with a little in the description, just put all the details of the beer, who makes it, and a little bit of a story behind the beer, if you can find it. Oh,
and also, if you're from places that we might not have that beer, there's no stopping you, shipping us a 6-pack. If you're interested, just make a note there, and I'll give you my address.
And we'll do a review for free.
Absolutely. Minimum is a 6-pack, though, for a review.
Perfect. We're going to talk today about, well, of course, the topic is, on this show, it's social media, podcasting, and internet marketing.
And beer.
And beer, of course, black beer. Today we're talking about social broadcasters. And we'll talk a little bit about social aggregators, the whole concept.
No, what I've been doing this week is I actually emailed Andrew, hey, Andrew, we're talking about all this social media stuff. I'm into it, but I'm not as up to speed as he is. So what are the podcasts that you listen to you think has great value? So he sent me this massive list. It had to be like 20 podcasts. So I said, okay, been trying them out, download them all. My iPod is actually thicker because it's got so many podcasts on it. And I've been listening to Ravencroft. How do you pronounce his name?
Cliff Ravenscraft.
Thank you.
The podcast answer man.
And awesome podcast. And I'm on episode 97, 98. He's got how many? Like 100 and...
Well, he's done over 2,000 podcast episodes on his various shows. But for the podcast answer man, I think he's on 178.
Wow. Okay, so awesome information, a little long-winded for me, but he has very good miking techniques, so I can bear it. The other guy I really, really like has a daily show. He does a little blurb on social media every day.
It's called Today in Social Media, brought to you by the good folks at Data Robotics.
Hey, and
hopefully soon the Bunker Project will be brought to you by Okanagan Springs Black Beer.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's a little spoof on him because when you listen to the beginning of his show, he, blah blah blah. It's almost kind of like the radio show pre-announcement 10-second ad you get before the news, and he does it for Data Robotics. It sounds like a great product. He's using it. So and I think most podcasters that promote particular products are actually utilizing them, like me and the Black Beer. But really, he's got some major problems with his S's and his P's. He's just way too loud on his mic.
It's a very high quality content show. His show, to me, it's very well done.
Oh, love it.
But you're right. He's a little bit loud. The actual volume isn't loud, but the recording is loud. And you can definitely hear his S's. He definitely needs a pop filter and
now
more compression.
Now here is our bartender S coming in. I forgot your name again. What? Allison. By the way, Allison, she's a knockout. So we're really enjoying being served by her today, and she does a fantastic job with the pour. Well done.
It is a pretty nice pour.
Yeah. And you got a friend from Australia here?
Yes, I do. And one from Scotland, but they're just heading out right now.
Yeah. They've been here for how many hours? Before that, like a couple of hours knocking them back, right?
Yeah.
So they got a pretty good buzz on?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I being the bartender, S, she doesn't get to drink as much. But hey, thanks for coming.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
We're good for about 15-20 minutes.
Pour.
All right, thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
So the cameo by our bartender S.
Excellent. Now, before we go on about audio quality and whatnot and get into our main topic, she was mentioning she's got some friends here from Australia and from Scotland. Well, before we go any further, I think we should thank the listeners who have been listening to the Bunker Project. We checked the stats, and we have a couple people from New South Wales in Australia who are listening.
And apparently, I went out into the bar about 15 minutes ago and chatted her. This New South Wales area, isn't Sydney there? And she's, yeah, Sydney. So I bet those two people are from Sydney.
Actually, one of our Australian listeners is Craig Griffiths, and he is actually on our meetup group membership, and he posted a comment on the Australian iTunes store. He actually posted a pretty good comment saying that he really appreciates the real sounding, it sounds like you're sitting there talking to these guys over a beer,
Which
laid back and we don't take ourselves too seriously kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what he said. But.
Yeah, it's true. But the thing I love about the comment, he talks about a black beer.
And he gave us a suggestion for, I think it was Cooper's, what was it?
Cooper's something.
Cooper's Old or something like that.
Yeah, I looked up on the internet, couldn't find a great picture of it. So if you can find a great one, please send it to us and we'll post that. I did find one. It wasn't that great. Also talked to the local liquor store here in Canada, or in BC. We have government-run liquor stores as well as private ones. Went to the big government liquor store, asked for it. Don't have it. So you guys, I guess you're just going to have to send us a 6-pack. Do it in the cans instead of the glass because it travels better.
Excellent. And yeah, so thank you for the review. And if anybody else wants to give us a good review in iTunes and a comment, we'd love to hear from you as well. Going on to the other listeners, we've got two people in California, one in Fresco and one in Los Angeles. Thanks for listening. And one in Philadelphia.
Yeah, now Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, they've had a lot of what was it? The Wire. Wasn't The Wire that amazing TV series that came out, I think 5 or 6 seasons, was maybe Philadelphia? Maybe it was Pittsburgh.
I'm not sure.
Who knows? I mean, it's like
TV,
Americans in Canada. It's like all Americans think we're a bunch of people with skis and snowing all the time. And
although I did watch Lost. I don't watch TV, but I did watch that series.
I made it up to season 5 or something, and I download all my episodes, and so I do like these 15-hour. I couldn't handle it after a while. It was too much.
Oh, I loved it.
And you know what? Another one that's really pissing me off? Heroes. I've been trying to push myself through Heroes. I didn't watch Heroes. I got like the 5 seasons. Push the melodramatic music. Give me a break. And then now I'm a little biased here because I've been listening to a lot about watching a lot of other great shows. So, I'm comparing them, and I think it's just over the top. It's coming off as a soap opera almost.
Yeah. Well, we can do another podcast on
trash TV shows.
on TV show bashing. But we've also got 5 new listeners in Ontario and 1 new listener in Alberta. So thank you for listening as well. And you better say this because you've actually lived in.
Oh yeah,
Thailand.
okay. So we have somebody from Kron Tip, which is Thailand. So Sawadee Kap to our listeners in Thailand. And I know you don't have any black beer there, so you can have a Mekong soda for me, please. And please check out our iTunes and make a comment. And if you want, totally make a CD and get it down to Pantip Plaza and put it in one of the pirate stores, because there's this amazing place called Pantip Plaza. It's like a 4 or 5 story building, large, has 300 or 400 dealers, and I would say about 30 or 40 people that all they do is sell pirate CDs of games and movies and stuff like that. Ironically, they don't do TV shows. So and here we don't really care because we just download through BitTorrent. But there's some people in Hong Kong or in Thailand that are just downloading tons of stuff through the BitTorrent, and they're making CDs and reselling it. Brilliant.
A total violation of copyright.
But you know what? Awesome customer service. You know, if you go back and say, hey, this thing doesn't work, boom, they don't even ask you questions. Here's a new one.
Well,
So-
as long as they've got good customer service.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's what it's all about.
All right,
Anyways.
so moving on. What we're talking about today is something that anybody can do to enhance their social media leverage, I would say. And basically it's using social broadcasters and aggregators to your advantage.
Okay, so let's define that, because, you know, it always confuses me. What's the difference between an aggregator and a broadcaster and pushing and pulling? Can you give me an example?
Sure. FriendFeed is a very popular aggregator and was, I guess last year they were purchased by Facebook. And they're pretty much the same service that they always were. And it allows you to enter in the social sites that you want to pull into your friend feed stream. So you could pull in Facebook, Twitter, and various other sites.
Okay, so let me just interrupt you here. When you say pull in, what does pull in mean?
So what it means is that you log into FriendFeed and you enter in your username and passwords. And then whenever you post to Twitter, it'll automatically show up in your friend feed. When you post to Facebook, it'll show up in your friend feed, as long as you've entered that username and password for those services into the friend feed settings. Now, that's fine, but if you're using a social broadcaster, which effectively does the opposite, you enter in all of your social networks that you want to push to in a service like ping.fm, OnlyWire, or Hello Text. There's quite a few of them. You enter in the username and passwords for all the social networks you want to post to, and then you just log into ping.fm and type in your message, and boom, it just pushes all the messages out to the services. Now, the thing you have to watch out for is you don't want to push to an aggregating site that you're already pulling from those services, because you're going to get redundant messages. So if you are pulling in friend feed all your Facebook updates and you push to in ping.fm to Facebook from ping, you're going to get that same message twice in your friend feed.
Okay, now will that confuse people? Will it double load onto Facebook type of thing?
No, but just in your friend feed or your Plaxo or whatever social aggregator you're using.
Okay, now can you put that on a timer? This is like, okay, here's 27 little tweets that I'm going to do, and I want them every 3 hours to come to tweet. Can you do something like that?
Absolutely, and especially if you use a service like Hootsuite.
Hootsuite, yeah.
Or various other ones, but let's just stick with ping.fm for now. Ping.fm is very similar to Hello Text and OnlyWire. I think ping.fm personally is my favorite, but basically you can put, I'm not sure exactly how many there are in total, but probably about 60 different sites that you can push to using ping.fm, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, MySpace, Google Buzz. I've got the list right here, and it's quite a big list.
Yeah, but looking at it here, I'll hold it closer to the mic so you can see it, audience. So yeah, what we can do is we can put that on the Facebook account, or maybe on the website.
Yeah, on the show notes.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, have you guys visited our website, which is under like this ridiculous URL because URL. That's another thing I've done. Shows my age. I pronounce URL URL. Do you
Yeah, it's
have-
okay. I do that too.
Yeah, Earl. Okay, so my Earl.
But, URL, URL, what's the difference? Uncensored social underground.com.
Really? You can remember that? See, I'm the guy that registered. I can't even remember that name. It's such a ridiculously long name. And for me, with Firefox, I just put in UN and I press the down button, hit return, and boom, it's there. And I'm there several times a week. Actually, I was there several times a day recently, just updating it and adding stuff to it. So yeah, that's our official website. So go check that out and make some comments on that too. What we're trying to do is obviously, because we're about social marketing, the podcast, we're trying to do as much internet interface stuff as possible. So if you think we're short on something, you think we should add another, little brick to our wall of weirdness, let us know.
But before you let us know, just know that we haven't actually started our Twitter campaign yet, and we haven't started doing any of the stuff that for this particular podcast that we're going to talk about today.
True.
So yeah, so we're
being
about
hypocrites.
to do. No, because this is a new show. We actually were planning on doing it for this show starting in the fall because nobody comes out in the summer. And so for
Or at least in
group,
BC.
Yeah. For a meetup group, because essentially we're a meetup group that does a podcast. But we decided to start it in the summer to get a few episodes under our belt before we kind of officially launched in the fall.
So we're in the middle of a soft launch then.
We are in the middle
flaccid
of a
launch.
launch.
So I
Okay.
just had to slip that. It's one of my favorite words. So anyways, let's get back to this. You mentioned Hootsuite.
Yes.
And I've been listening to these podcasts, and these two guys, they raved about Hootsuite for 15, 20 minutes. All sorts of cool stuff about it. What makes Hootsuite so great compared to what you were talking about, which is FriendFeed?
Well, no, FriendFeed is a social aggregator site, and Ping, which is what we're talking
Ping
about
and
now,
Hootsuite, yeah.
is a social broadcaster, and it's awesome because you can leverage your time. If you're going to say you want to send out an update to 20 social networks that you post to, well, you don't have to log into to Tumblr and you don't have to log into Facebook and Twitter and do it all separately. You just go into ping.fm and you send it once, and it goes to all these different profiles. What is really cool about Hootsuite, and this is to me it's the best part about Hootsuite, is that it integrates ping.fm right into its platform. So you've got, and there's many different Twitter clients out there that you can manage multiple accounts and things like that. And that's essentially what Hootsuite is. You can have 4 or 5 Twitter accounts, three for free in their freemium model. And basically you can put your Twitter accounts in there. You can put your Facebook account in there, your LinkedIn account, and your ping.fm account. So let's say we're gonna post that once this show goes live on iTunes. We're going to send out a post to everybody that the Bunker Project live on iTunes. Here's the URL to the website. And so we do that. We go into Hootsuite and we send it to my Podcast Hero Twitter account. We send it to our new, soon to be created Bunker Project Twitter account. We send it to anything that makes sense, right? We send it to our Facebook wall. We send it to maybe our LinkedIn if we want it there. Or if we don't, we just don't tick the LinkedIn button. And then we tick ping.fm. And then it'll go to all these sites. And you want to go to where people are, right? Most of the people are on Facebook and Twitter and the main big sites. But for the amount of effort it takes to send out one message to go to all these other sites, you might as well be there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it creates a link, and at least a searchable link in Google anyways.
Now, okay, so what about Hootsuite? What's the difference? Excuse my ignorance, but doesn't it do the same thing?
So you're asking me what's the difference between Hootsuite and Hootsuite?
No, okay, major confusion here. I thought you were talking about Ping FM. Ping.
Well, what's confusing is that ping.fm is integrated into Hootsuite, and that's what makes Hootsuite so
okay, I
cool.
missed that. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what makes Hootsuite
Yeah.
so cool,
Yeah.
is that you get the power of Ping right
Plus
in
everything
Hootsuite.
else.
You don't even have to log into your Hootsuite account ever again. You don't have to ever log into your ping.fm account again because you've got Ping in Hootsuite. You log into Hootsuite, send it to this Twitter account, this
Nice.
Twitter account. This Twitter account has nothing to do with social media. This is my natural health one, so I'm not going to send it to this
So it's
them.
like a nice management interface.
It's an awesome management interface, and it also has stats and a URL shortener, Owly,
Oh,
instead of Bitly or the various other ones.
so I see a metaphor growing here. Owls, Hootsuite.
Yeah,
Any other?
Hootsuite is the owl.
So are there any other metaphors that are used for these guys? Because they were names that are.
Well, it's a Twitter client. It started off as a Twitter client, and Twitter is the bird, right? And that's their logo, the little bird. And owl is Hootsuite's. You know, hoot. That's what owls do. They hoot.
Yeah. Well, okay. So they're also a night predator. So.
Well, they're all around cool, and they're like, you know,
Well, maybe.
in Harry Potter.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. They have those. Who's the guys that have that owl that kept on smashing into windows when they had like the owl that just couldn't get together? What was it? Isn't there a show with William Shatner and it's like Dad
I
said
heard he pissed in her too.
what? No, it was like what?
William Shatner.
Yeah. Man, I think we're gonna get double bleeped on that one. No, that's an awful pun. No. Really, the
Straight
things
from Dublin, Ireland, that one. Or
Was it?
actually, no, Warren Point in Northern Ireland.
Really? Oh, okay. So we are an international community here. You know the typographical things where they have the exclamation marks and blah blah blah, which symbolizes I think the word shit, which he will bleep again, and the
Well,
shit my dad
actually,
said.
that's something that
and
we should. That's something that we should mention too. Is in iTunes when you're deciding what kind
explicit
of
or
show you're going
not,
to do,
yeah.
and you have to label it. So,
But you
in
can't
this
do it
case-
per show.
In this
Like
case,
one show's explicit, one show isn't explicit.
yeah.
How can you?
Well, I have to look into that because I actually never did look into that. But so we would have to label the show as explicit, or we can label it clean, or we can label it non-explicit. In this case, if I'm bleeping out the expletives,
Yeah. So what are we going to use for a bleep? How about beer? Some gulp or beer opening or something like that, just to make it entertaining.
We could do that, but we still can't mark it as non-explicit. Even if we're bleeping it out, we have to mark it as clean, meaning that it's cleaned up. So that
Really?
you're bleeping out the swear words.
Huh. It's a good thing I had a shower. That's all I can say. So, okay. Hootsuite, Google Buzz.
Well, Google Buzz, there was some controversy because they included it inside of Gmail instead of making it a separate Google service.
Do you think that's a controversy or people just a little pissed off about it?
Well, that's basically why it's controversial, because it's inside your mail account. So there's privacy issues, and a lot of people don't want to have their social media stream or a threaded conversation like that happening inside their Gmail. And I agree. I think it should be outside of Gmail. I don't see any reason why it should be.
I mean, okay, so
Inside
a
Gmail.
workaround would be...
Well, I see one reason why it would be inside Gmail is because it's for marketing purposes. Everybody automatically gets it, and it just the icon appears there inside your Gmail account, and it's there, right? So maybe more people are likely to use it, and they don't have to subscribe to it. Kind of like reverse billing.
Oh, okay. So for me, the way I'd fix that though is I just make up another Gmail account. Like I have so many Gmail accounts. I had a bit of a crisis earlier this week with my feed burner, and I couldn't log into the account. I'd forgotten which Gmail account I'd use, and I'd given up, and I'd sent an email to iTunes. Oh, please delete my
It's
my
funny.
account. It was crazy.
It's funny because we talked about FeedBurner in episode 3, and basically one of the whole reasons for using FeedBurner is to protect your feed, because if you change your host, you can just log in and change your source feed, and your target and your FeedBurner feed remains the same, and nobody knows that you've moved your whole blog over to another service. Now, in Bob's case, he lost his FeedBurner account, or he thought he did, and therefore,
Yeah.
he's screwed.
Exactly. Well, okay, so very interesting thing happened. I've been messing around and logging in and trying to figure out, with Gmail, it's like, you can't figure out your email. So they say, log in and we'll send you if we can find your email, we can send you the password, and da-da-da. And I was doing like, I've got like 15 or 20 Gmail accounts. Some of them are really obscure, and that's why it got lost. But anyways, long story short, I spent about 3 hours putting in all sorts of Gmail accounts, finally figured it out. So what happens today is I log into Gmail and I get this note saying, are you worried about losing your account? You should do this. So I think what happened is their algorithm picked up that I've been trying really hard to get into this account. Finally got into the account, did cool stuff, so I wasn't a guy taking over the account. And it just popped up, and I got this obscure message that I've never seen before. And it gave me a bunch of tips on how to secure my Gmail account. So there you go. They are aware of that problem, but it is an issue. If everything's linked to Gmail and you forget it for some reason, then you're locked out of everything.
Or if you accidentally delete your account, there's been people who have done that.
How do you accidentally delete an account?
Well, from what I
Too
understand,
many tequilas, probably.
Or black beers.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what was going on with you when you were looking for yours.
You know what? I as much as it sounds like I'm a crazy drinker, I have maybe 3 or 4 cases of wine at home, and I haven't been drinking a lot recently. It's just too hot to drink. When I drink, my body burns off the alcohol, get way too hot, can't sleep at night. So really...
You're a winter alcoholic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pushing for October, big time.
And that's why he moved to Vancouver, because we have long winters.
Yeah, well, I was in Thailand.
Mild winters, but long.
Well, in Thailand, I just drank all night, and then I'd sleep during the day. So we digress. So where the hell were we?
We were back at the...
So we were talking about Google Buzz.
Oh, actually,
right.
Let's just touch on this whole concept of having everything in one, all your eggs in one basket. So if you would, you've got everything in Google. You've got like for me, if I was to lose my Google account, I've got all my documents in Google Documents. I've got my Gmail, my FeedBurner, my AdSense. I've got my Google Analytics, all attached to one Google account. So if it was to suddenly disappear, I'd be really, really
What's
upset.
the word? Oh, I would say, is it, if you say screwed, does that make it?
I'd be screwed.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, I don't know if that would make it explicit or not. Anyways, we might as well just be explicit. It sounds like that's the way we're going anyways. But
No, you're right. It's
Yeah.
like putting all your eggs in one basket. It's crazy. It's like not backing up your hard drive. Now
what? But you can actually now save your Google Docs on your computer now.
oh, hey, hang on. Remember we were talking about that ad that guy was the other podcaster guy, and he
Drobo from Data Robotics.
right. So that's what that product does.
Well, it backs up your hard drives, but if everything's in the cloud on Google,
Right,
then
but
lose your
can't you
Google
back up
account.
your cloud somewhere else, like onto your hard drive,
Well,
your Gobo?
you could back up files and
archive.
documents, but if everything that you're doing online is in your Google account, like for instance FeedBurner, you can't back that up.
Okay, isn't it okay? You know, with WordPress, you can get automatic backup software plugins to put in, and then I get emails all the time saying,
Your database, backing up your database. Yeah.
exactly, and there's different levels and stuff like that. Couldn't you do that with Google? Isn't there some sort of backup for their backup?
Yeah, but if you lose your account, how do you get back into your FeedBurner account?
Well, true. Well, so take
there's,
copious notes.
There's
Email your safe with...
When you told me about this, I looked it up, and I found a whole bunch of people who had
Done it?
accidentally lost their Gmail account, or who had... Oh, we've got a guest.
Oh, our guest. Hey, how you doing? It's okay.
She's here.
No. Come on, sit down, relax. Did you run here or something? Why don't you go get yourself a beer
Yeah.
and relax? We're fine.
Okay, good. Good.
Okay, good. How are you?
Yeah. So, anyways, where were we?
We were talking about Google
Oh, yeah,
controlling
people-
your entire life.
Basically, yeah, you've got to get everything on Google, and then you accidentally delete the account. Now, okay, Please.
Well,
How do you accidentally delete an account? I mean, that's hard because they'll have like, "Are you sure you want to delete this account?" And you say yes, and they say, "Are you really, really sure?" And you hit it. "Hey, dude, we're talking to you. We're gonna do this thing. You're sure you're gonna be pissed off if it happens?" He said, "Yeah."
Well, in the forum, one person said if you upgrade to a Google Apps account, it's much more difficult to accidentally delete.
Really? Yeah, because you got all your apps.
Well, Google Apps is just a kind of a professional version of Gmail.
Well, I thought that Google Apps is like Microsoft Word, clone, and
That's
Excel,
Google Docs.
Docs app. Oh, really?
That's Google Docs. Google Apps is like upgraded version of Gmail,
And
where
you
you
have
can
to-
use your own domain.
Do you have to pay for it?
So you could have your Gmail account if you have a Google Apps. There's a free version, and there's also a paid version. It's only $50 a year or something like that. So
Wow.
it's pretty cheap. But then you can use your own domain in your Gmail account. So you could have your
Garlicmarketing.com,
garlicmarketing.com email address as your Gmail address.
Well, that's kind of like one of the options with yousendit.com. You get a pro account, and then you can brand it to yourself. I mean, that's the
Well, it's the
that's your buy-in.
It's kind of the classic freemium model. You get the basic service for free, or maybe even the majority of the service for free, and then you pay a little extra to get a little bit more.
Okay, so
And I think that's what they should do with the black beer.
well, look at it's not even me doing it. It's amazing. Like I've got Andrew into like plugging the black beer here. So before because we're coming up on like 35 minutes here. Anything that we want to do to wrap up this session before we shut down the mics?
Well, I think for
'Cause,
anybody who's
okay, the
interested-
next show.
Here's another point for the social broadcasters. Signing up on all these kind of obscure sites that they're not Facebook, they're not Twitter, they're like they're plurk.com and JQ, and JQ is actually not that small, but anyways, there's a number of there's all these sites, and you say, well, why would I be there? If you choose a username that is a relevant keyword for your business, like if you type in my username for my natural health stuff, it's Gangaroots, and it's a useless keyword because it's just a nonsense name that I use as a username. If you type that in, you get tons of results, right? Now, if I had chosen a different name that maybe is relevant to something that I'm marketing or whatever, it'll come up, right? So choose something that's fairly relevant and as niche as possible, because then you're not competing with, and maybe long tail, so you're not competing with a very, very common keyword. And then when people are searching for that, it'll pop up with your profile on one of these sites, and then the profile has your bio and a little bit of information about you, and a link back to wherever your home on the web, wherever every one of these sites should be funneling back to whatever you're offering. And you want to keep, another thing too, is you want to keep your social media content, whatever you're putting out there, you want to keep it consistent, and you want to have all of the link backs to the same place. And just like you said in the very first episode, we talked about why are you doing this? So have a focus, have your editorial strategy with what you're doing, and send it all back. And if you're looking for content, there's no shortage of content for whatever niche you're in. If you're selling design work, let's say, so you do a Google alert search so that it comes in your email box every day, a Google alert for design, different things that people are looking for, logo design and all this kind of thing. Whenever anything in those keywords comes up in Google, it'll come into your email. And whatever's really remarkable that you're really interested in, you just send it out, and using Hootsuite, you send it out to all your social sites. And so then you get picked up in Twitter, and people start following you because they're looking for this specific thing, and they see that you're really into it and you're sending out all this stuff on a daily basis. And same thing, set up a tweet beep account, and that way whenever anybody tweets out about a certain subject that you're interested in, you'll be notified, and you can follow those people and interact with them and develop a following that way. So there's a lot of ways of doing this.
It's just another way of exciting the algorithms on Google, so you come top of the road.
Yeah. You want to be consistently putting out content and posts in
specific to your
specifically
target
Twitter
words.
and Facebook, but because it's so easy to leverage your time and get into all the social networks that you want to be on using these social broadcasters, you might as well do that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Go to where the people are. Don't expect them to come to you.
Yeah, true. Well, it's not being, it's a classic. It's like not being a passive marketer, being a proactive marketer, going out there, pushing out there, giving to the community, and basically providing as much content as possible. Because in the long run, the long tail, you're going to get a lot more feedback and a lot more awareness of your brand and what you're providing.
Okay, so I think that's all I had to say to wrap up the subject.
That's awesome. Andrew, you're chatting with him. He's a bit of a god when it comes to like the technical side of things. And I stumble along here, but it's nice because it's an equalizer. Because a lot of people are saying, what the hell is he talking about? And then I'll say something stupid for you guys. And then he'll explain it in once again. And we'll all figure it out.
And we also talk a lot about other forms of marketing, and that's where
Yeah.
the Zeus of...
Oh, hey, looks like a couple more guests coming in here. Hey, dude. How you doing? We're just wrapping up the show, but awesome time. You going to come in and go for show 2? Yeah. Excellent. This is great. So we're just going to wrap up the show today, and Andrew, you going to sign us off?
We'll wrap up the show right now, and if you have any questions, feedback, or comments for the show, we can actually bring you into the show using voicemail feedback at 1-877-636-1474.
Yeah, and don't forget the Facebook account with logging in and talk and sending me the black beer photographs. I really need that stuff because it fuels my energy.
And I think he's also soliciting cases of
Well, you're okay. This is the deal. I want to get a hold of the Okanagan Springs black beer rep, or at least the Okanagan Springs rep. Talk to him and say, hey, listen, give us some paraphernalia, and I can give it to our guests when they come by. So like hats and shirts and Maseratis and iPhones and pot. Oh, okay, I'll keep those things. But you know what I'm saying. So we can be generous.
Yep, absolutely. And if you want a free review, remember on the show, send Bob a 6-pack of.
Oh yeah, I will review a 6-pack of beer from anywhere in the world. Okay, I won't do Screech though, but tequila is cool.
All right, and that wraps it up. So we'll talk to you again next week, and we've got an exciting studio audience lined up for next week, and we'll see you then.
Bye.